Hi, my name's Amanda, and we have a lot to cover, so buckle in and try to keep up. Today we'll be talking about Captain America Civil War and how critical thinking habits of mine played into the drama, I mean plot, surrounding the Sokovia Accords. Warning, this has spoilers.
Am I running a bed and breakfast for biker gang?
So a bit of background. The movie starts out with a few Avengers in Lagos, Nigeria, where there ends up being a terrorist attack. One of the Avengers, Wanda Maximoff, tries to prevent one of the terrorists, Brock Rumlow, from blowing up Captain America with a bomb and accidentally ends up killing 26 people, 11 of whom are Wakanda relief workers. So yeah, that's bad, but also absolutely no one tells Wanda that if she had done nothing, the bomb would have taken out at least twice that number of people on the ground. So there's that. This event naturally got international coverage, prompting this dude, Secretary of State Thaddeus Ross, to show up and lay out the Sokovia Accords, which has already been signed by 117 countries.
The Sokovia Accords, approved by 117 countries, it states that the Avengers shall no longer be a private organization. Instead, they'll operate under the supervision of a United Nations panel only when and if that panel deems it necessary.
He also shows footage of other events that took place in other films in the Marvel Cinematic Universe to demonstrate the destruction left behind by the Avengers. Without talking about how it was the suits who wanted to nuke New York during the Battle of New York and a bunch of other things that the government had a hand in that the Avengers cleaned up for them. Naturally, this divides the team, especially their two alpha males, Captain Steve Rogers and Tony Stark. Both of them have their own backstories that clearly lead into their views on the Accords. Rogers fought in World War II and knows what it's like to feel out of control over one's life when he received the super soldier serum and was made to travel with the USO instead of using his new abilities to fight in the war as he was intended. And Stark was a weapons manufacturer before he saw what his weapons could do in the wrong hands and shut it down. Would give you more backstory, but honestly, I would need at least a whole cinematic universe to go into it. How all the Avengers aren't in therapy, I will never know. That aside, both demonstrate both positive and negative critical thinking habits of mind in their argument. Rogers makes the judicious argument that the UN may not send them someplace they need to go, or what more likely, that they won't agree quickly enough to deploy the Avengers effectively.
Tony, you chose to do that. If we sign this, we surrender our right to choose. What if this panel sends us somewhere we don't think we should go? What if there's somewhere we need to go and they don't let us? We may not be perfect, but the safest hands are still our own.
But also he is heedless of consequences as he doesn't address the obvious destruction they leave in their wake.
This job. We try to save as many people as we can. Sometimes that doesn't mean everybody. But if we can't find a way to live with that, next time, maybe nobody gets saved.
Stark is looking at the Accords from an analytical standpoint as he acknowledges that they have made mistakes, including him building Ultron, which led to the destruction of Sokovia, and if they don't sign now, they will be forced into submission down the line.
There's no decision-making process here. We need to be put in check. Whatever form that takes, I'm game. If we can't accept limitations, we're boundaryless, we're no better than the bad guys. If we don't do this now, it's gonna be done to us later. That's the fact. That won't be pretty.
But he demonstrates hostility towards reason to most of the points that Rogers makes.
I don't mean to make things difficult.
I know, because you're a very polite person.
If I see a situation pointed south, I can't ignore it. Sometimes I wish I could.
No, you don't.
No, I don't.
Sometimes I want to punch you in your perfect teeth.
And essentially tries to use Steve's nostalgia over his past life against him to sway him into sign the Accords.
You want to see something cool? I pulled something from Dad's archives. Timely. FDR signed the Lend-Lease bill with these in 1941.
The rift between these two is only widened with the arrest of Bucky Barnes, Steve's old friend who was a victim of Hydra that the government wants held accountable for his 80 years of crimes. But that's off topic in the context of this video. In conclusion, Stark and Rogers need marriage counseling or something, and the Accords have both good and bad points tied to them, but mostly bad. Like floating prison in the middle of the ocean bad. Seriously, whose idea was this? It's just excessive. Also, Marvel just announced they have another 20 movies in the works, and I am not prepared. Thank you. Credits.